Unity Schools Partnership believes that every pupil, irrespective of background or barrier to learning, is able to attain well. Our work here at the partnership has proven that to be true, and also our work at the partnership has really led the national agenda in this area. Our thinking, our research, our focus on the achievement of pupils from less fortunate backgrounds really has led the national conversation on this agenda. To best support our pupils from less fortunate backgrounds to ensure that they get a consistently high quality of education that meets their needs, the partnership really adopts a set of principles to work to, which supports our head teachers and our school leaders to benchmark their decision making against. Those principles, this set of principles that we've adopted, rooted in research evidence, and really the research that we've done in understanding what the national and international good practice looks like. Individual schools then, of course, consider their own context and, of course, their own pupils and benchmark against those principles. All the principles are important, and they apply to teaching and learning strategies, for academic intervention, but also wider pastoral approaches too. All of them are important, and they can't be benchmarked, so you can't choose the ones that you like. So they act as a mirror to hold up to schools to make sure that we're making always the best strategic and operational decisions through the lens of our pupils and families from less fortunate backgrounds. All staff at all levels across the partnership have a really good understanding of those principles and their own strategies for supporting pupils from less fortunate backgrounds within their schools, their individual schools, and they share a collective responsibility for the outcomes of those pupils. Everybody is responsible for those outcomes. Research from the Department for Education, research from the Education Endowment Foundation, and certainly our research here at Unity Schools Partnership and as part of the National Research School Network shows us the greatest impact we can have on pupils from less fortunate backgrounds comes from the quality of their classroom experience on a day-to-day basis. That is the critical thing that we can get right for our pupils from less fortunate backgrounds. So we are committed that every day, all pupils, irrespective of background or barrier to learning, are best served with a focus on high quality teaching and learning experiences from the early years and around inclusive teaching and learning strategies, which leads to success in the classroom and beyond. High quality teaching is at the heart of all of our school strategies for pupils from less fortunate backgrounds. And first and foremost, within those set of principles, we adopt a relational approach. Schools connect with pupils and families on an individual basis and understand their needs and their context. That informs our teaching and learning approaches and emotional well-being, pastoral care. It underpins all of that work. Academic and pastoral leaders work in an interrelated, intertwined way, and all are supported in a coordinated way. Supporting pupils with their literacy is an absolutely critical principle that we work to, and that is again, a key principle, from the early years right through to the upper stages of secondary school, that we focus relentlessly on supporting pupils to improve their literacy wherever they are in terms of their attainment profile. We look to improve pupils' literacy, not because it isn't good enough, but it can always be better. And that underpins self-confidence, self-esteem, participation in learning, social interaction, self-confidence, background knowledge, oral language. It's one of the great keys to success. We never treat pupils from less fortunate backgrounds as a homogenous group. Strategy and activity should always focus on pupil need, employing a proactive approach, anticipating future challenges and addressing them through early intervention, which means that actually, the attainment profiles that you start with are not the inevitable place where you will finish, but rather we address, any issues, any barriers to learning, and that means that all pupils can attain well. All of our schools adopt robust process and impact evaluation strategies, which help them, and those are designed at the start of the implementation of plans. And what that does is enable governors, school leaders, teachers, and other staff to effectively in an ongoing way to be evaluating whether the approaches they're putting in place are having the impact that we like them to, or whether they need to be adapted and changed. So again, we don't wait till we get to the end of processes to see whether they've worked or not. That's absolutely critical again to the long-term success and strong outcomes for all. Subject and phase leaders have responsibility for the quality of the curriculum in their subject areas and their phases, so that they're carefully planned and well sequenced, so that pupils go through those series of lessons, knowing more, learning more, looking to high academic standards, and also creating this culture in our schools where we're all responsible for the outcomes of all pupils, again, irrespective of background, barrier to learning. Teachers and other classroom-based staff have a shared understanding of what great, high-quality, inclusive teaching looks like. And they hold themselves to account for whether that is taking place in their classrooms day in, day out, because that's where we can make the difference for pupils. It's what happens in every moment in the classroom, and empowering teachers so they understand how best they can support all pupils is absolutely key to success. Teaching strategies promote independent, self-regulated learning, so pupils can feel an ownership and responsibility for their own learning through things that we've got like scaffolding, modelling, worked examples, pre-teaching vocabulary and language to make sure that pupils can access the lessons, addressing gaps in learning where we need to, and diagnostic assessment, understanding pupils who may have some gaps in learning, for lots of complex issues, really informs our strategies rather than simplistic labels that pupils might have. And we use high quality provision mapping to make sure that we don't fall into a trap around over intervention and pupils too frequently being pulled out of lessons for interventions. And the best place for them to be is at the heart of in the classroom, participating in learning. All of our staff have the highest of expectations for all of our pupils, again, irrespective of background or barrier to learning. staff understand and are sympathetic to some of the challenges that some of our families and our pupils face. But that never leads to a lowering of expectations around what those pupils can achieve as individuals. And we think a lot about their personal best and improving on that, and that all staff support and nurture pupils to build their self-confidence, their self-esteem, to make sure that they can participate in learning, their contributions, their talk, their ideas, and their contributions to lessons and wider school life are valued, again, irrespective background or barrier to learning. Research evidence informs all that we do, and we use that to challenge our decision making, to inform the decisions we make, not just to justify it. So it's not a simplistic use of that research evidence, but we use it to challenge our thinking, to make sure that we're using the most efficient and effective approaches to support individual pupil need. I think the final point I really want to say on that is that we think that consistency of relationships is absolutely critical for supporting pupils' learning and their achievement, particularly for those from less fortunate backgrounds. So the well-being of our staff is absolutely critical to achieving that. Okay, thank you.